was impossible. Every morning, Isaiah kissed her stomach before leaving for work. Every night, they sat in the nursery debating baby names while soft jazz played through their Atlanta mansion. The room was painted cream and gold with tiny bookshelves, silk curtains, and a crystal chandelier Isaiah insisted their daughter deserved. For the first time in her life, Nia felt safe. Not rich, not famous, safe. And that terrified her, because every time life had given her something beautiful, it found a way to take it back. One rainy Thursday evening, Isaiah called her while leaving a business dinner downtown. "You still awake?" he asked through the speaker. Nia smiled from bed. "Barely. Your daughter's been kicking me all night." Isaiah laughed softly. "That's because she already runs the house." Nia closed her eyes, listening to his voice. "Hurry home." "I'm on my way now," he promised. "I love you." "I love you more." Those were the last words she heard before the line disconnected. At 2:13 a.m., Nia's phone rang again, but this time it wasn't Isaiah. It was the hospital. Everything after that became a blur. The rain, the screaming tires, the trembling in her hands as her driver rushed her through empty Atlanta streets. The doctor meeting her at the emergency room entrance with pity already written across his face. "Mrs. Brooks!" Nia's knees nearly gave out before he even finished speaking. Isaiah had been hit by a drunk driver crossing an intersection less than 10 minutes from home. Multiple internal injuries, severe head trauma, emergency surgery, critical condition. Nia sat frozen beside his hospital bed for hours, staring at machines, keeping the love of her life breathing. "No," she whispered repeatedly while gripping his hand. "No, no, no." The media found out by morning. News helicopters circled the hospital. Social media exploded. Tech mogul Isaiah Brooks fighting for his life. Pregnant billionaire Nia Brooks seen rushing into hospital. Flowers flooded the lobby from celebrities, politicians, and supporters around the country. But none of it mattered, because the only thing Nia wanted was for Isaiah to open his eyes. Marcus arrived quietly later that evening, carrying coffee she never touched. When he saw Nia curled beside Isaiah's bed in tears, something inside him broke. "I'm so sorry," he whispered. Nia looked hollow. "I can't lose him." Marcus swallowed hard because he knew she wasn't just talking about Isaiah. She was talking about surviving another heartbreak, another funeral, another piece of herself being ripped away. For 3 days, Isaiah remained unconscious. Nia refused to leave the hospital. Her assistant begged her to rest. Her doctors warned her stress levels could harm the baby. But Nia didn't care. Every beep from the machines sounded like a countdown to another tragedy she wasn't strong enough to survive. On the 4th night, Marcus found her standing alone in the hospital chapel, crying silently. "I prayed for years to have a love like this," she whispered without looking at him. "Why would God give him to me just to take him away?" Marcus had no answer. For once in his life, money, charm, and apologies meant nothing. The next morning, doctors called Nia into a private conference room, and one look at their faces shattered her. "There's been swelling in his brain," the surgeon explained carefully. "If Isaiah wakes up, there's a possibility of permanent neurological damage." Nia stopped breathing. "What does that mean?" The doctor hesitated. "He may not fully recover cognitively." The room spun. Nia walked out in silence before collapsing against the hallway wall, sobbing. Everything she fought to build suddenly felt meaningless. The money, the fame, the empire, none of it could save the person she loved. Hours later, while sitting beside Isaiah holding his hand, Nia finally broke completely. "I can't do this again," she cried. "I can't bury another person I love." Then suddenly, his fingers moved. Nia froze. Slowly, painfully, Isaiah's eyes opened. "Weak!" he whispered. Nia gasped before bursting into tears. "Oh my God!" Doctors rushed into the room while Isaiah drifted in and out of consciousness, but he was alive, alive. Weeks later, Isaiah returned home in a wheelchair while beginning intense rehabilitation therapy. The accident had left lasting damage to his leg and short-term memory issues that frustrated him daily. For the first time since becoming successful, Isaiah struggled with depression. The independent, powerful man who once led boardrooms now needed help walking across his own house. And quietly, shame started changing him. One night during recovery, Isaiah lashed out after forgetting an important meeting. "I hate this," he snapped, throwing his therapy tablet across the room. Nia flinched. Isaiah immediately looked horrified. "I'm sorry," he whispered, but Nia saw it in his eyes. Fear, the same fear she once carried after losing everything. Later that night, she sat beside him in bed while he stared into darkness. "You know what scares me most?" he admitted quietly. "What?" "That one day you'll look at me and realize I'm not the man you married anymore." Nia's eyes instantly filled with tears. She climbed carefully into his lap, despite her pregnant belly, and held his face gently. "Listen to me," she whispered. "I loved you when you could stand tall. I'll love you if you have to crawl." Isaiah broke down crying against her chest, and for the first time in his life, someone stayed during the hard part. Not because they needed him, but because they chose him. 3 months later, on a cold December morning, Nia gave birth to a healthy baby girl. As Isaiah held their daughter with trembling hands, tears rolled down his face. "What do you want to name her?" Nia whispered softly. Isaiah looked at their baby before smiling through tears. "Faith." Because after everything they survived, that's exactly what carried them through.